I've been battling the National Education Association since I was 19 years old. Elected to my local school board right outside of Philadelphia in a place called Cheltenham Township, Pennsylvania, when I was in law school. And as president of Landmark Legal Foundation, we've been battling the N.E.A. for decades. I'm well familiar with what Governor Scott Walker is up against in Wisconsin, what Christie is up against in New Jersey, what Kasich is up against in Ohio, and on and on and on. Now, the N.E.A. is the closest thing we have in this country to a communist party. Just stick with me. I'm not saying its members are communist, although I'm sure there's some. But many, many members are also patriots. I'm saying the N.E.A., the National Education Association, is the closest thing we have in this country to a communist party. Now, why am I saying this? Because the manner in which it operates, in many ways, parallels that of the Communist Party. First, look at its structure. The national union, state affiliates, local affiliates. From the top down, everybody gets their marching orders. There is no real democracy. There is no real competition. There is no real free speech. If the N.E.A. had its way, as it does in most states, you'd have to be a member of the N.E.A. in order to work. That's like saying you have to be a member of the Communist Party in order to work. And in communist regimes, many times you do. Then the members have to pay dues to the party, to the union, to support a highly paid hierarchy, a leadership structure. The leadership functions not to improve education, not to improve the schools, not to improve communities, but to demand and secure as much treasure from the citizenry as possible. The citizenry not being members of the N.E.A. The citizenry is actually the enemy. And if they don't get what they want, in some states, they strike. In other states, they have sickouts, like Wisconsin, or whatever kind of unrest is necessary to deny education to the children of the citizenry who pay for the whole damn thing. It's a form of blackmail. And the small handful of elected local officials are easy targets. They quickly give up. They can't handle the pressure that the N.E.A. places upon them, particularly in the past when citizens weren't paying a whole lot of attention. The idea is a simple one. Benefits are concentrated, that is, to N.E.A. members, while the costs of the benefits are dispersed, that is, to the citizenry. If any members of the N.E.A. dare to question the N.E.A.'s authority or dare to challenge it, those members will be treated as malcontents and disgruntled individuals, to be shunned. Because with the N.E.A., like the Communist Party, conformity is crucial. Conformity is essential. All members of the N.E.A. are to be treated the same way, regardless if they're remarkable teachers or disastrous teachers. Conformity is crucial. There are no standouts and there are no stand-downs. Just like the Communist Party. The N.E.A. then uses a significant portion of the money it extracts from the citizenry through the handful of weak local officials to buy off other politicians at all levels of government. The N.E.A. has made sure that the antitrust laws of the federal government that apply throughout the private sector do not apply to it. Thus, it is a monopoly. Now, if these politicians continue to support extravagant contracts and benefits, like Obama, They will also receive massive ground support on Election Day, with the N.E.A. tapping into its 2 million member army to hand out leaflets, to man precincts, to make phone calls, to do what has to be done. And of course, like with the Communist Party, there can be no other party. That is, there can be no other education union competing in school districts for membership. They reject that completely. And in their contracts, they prevent it. There can be no other union to compete with the N.E.A. monopoly over labor. So what you see in Milwaukee and Madison and all over Wisconsin, what you see in other states, really is a drone-like, almost goose-stepping type mentality. Notice all the teachers aren't showing up in Madison. A percentage of the teachers are showing up, and miscreants being bussed in from God knows where, pushing God knows what. That's because I'm talking about the structure of the N.E.A., the leadership of the N.E.A., the relationship of the N.E.A. to its members, the relationship of the N.E.A. to politicians. The National Education Association is anti-democratic, anti-constitution. It's alien to the structures that we have in this nation. It is a fiefdom up unto itself. That's why it attracts in its leadership the most virulent, bullying, thuggish, socialist types one can imagine. Because it doesn't fit well in a republic. It doesn't fit well in a capitalist system. Because its own management rejects both. I don't mean as a matter of philosophy, although I'm sure that's true. It's a matter of practice. It's about muscling out competition and destroying it, and by law, preventing it. It's about using the law through weak local officials, weak local politicians, to compel property owners to continue to pay more and more, I don't know what we call it, pay more and more to a school system, regardless of output. Regardless of output. Meanwhile, the N.E.A. spends the vast majority of its money to elect politicians of one ideology from one party, because they are investing in them. Let me use an Obama word. They are investing in those politicians who they expect, who they demand, will use the power of their offices to abuse the tax-paying citizens of this country. I had a police officer come up to me on, when was it? Saturday. As I was walking out of a place, he said, "Are you Mark Levin?" I said, "I am." He said, "I've always wanted to meet you, and I want to thank you for all your support." And I said, "No, I want to thank you." I pointed to the pistol, in his case, on his the left side of his hip, his left hip. I said, "That's what separates you from a bureaucrat. That's what separates you from the N.E.A. You're carrying that pistol, that Glock 40, I think it was, to put your life in front of my children's lives if something horrific should happen in my neighborhood. You, sir, are to be thanked by me. I want people like you. I want to support people like you. We need people like you. And you're tested every damn day. There are magnificent teachers out there But we don't know how many. And we don't know who they are unless our kids have had an opportunity to experience them in a classroom, and that's simply by luck. Absolute luck. Because the N.E.A. won't let us separate the good from the bad or the great from the average. Everybody's the same. Everybody. Conformity is crucial. Because we can't have people stepping out, those who are really terrific. And by rewarding them and noticing them and praising them, also showing that there's so many who don't live up to what they need to live up to. Now, this battle between public sector, in my case, teachers' unions, and the public has been brewing for a long time. You parents know damn well what I'm talking about when you really have no control over the schools, even as parents. Oh, they'll put you through the bureaucratic motions and let you comment about your kid. But if your kid and a teacher have bad chemistry or it's not working out well, or the teacher, you try and change that kid out of that classroom. That's almost impossible. Why? Why should it be that way? If you want your kids to bring birthday cake to celebrate his birthday or her birthday with the classmates, and the school says no, why? Is that a discipline issue? We got to prove that we're stronger than the parent? I could go on and on, but I won't. The N.E.A. is exactly what I say it is. It's America's Communist Party. There is no real debate in the hierarchy. There is no real care for children in the hierarchy. They don't give a damn about the communities and the neighborhoods that fund these monuments. They don't give a damn. Because if they did, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing in Wisconsin today. And when we come back, there's part two. Part two. When a president of the United States takes sides in a battle between the people, we the people, and the special interest that lines his campaign pockets with millions and millions of dollars. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.